Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, there was some big news today. I had a different video that I was going to put up on my channel today, but then in the early morning hours last night, DJI released their Mini SE in the United States. And I think this is a really game-changing moment for bargain price drones. So I felt like we ought to talk about it. And yes, I did order one. I have one ordered and I should have it by this coming Thursday. That would be the 12th. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting that. But I have both my Mini 2 and my original DJI Mavic Mini. And I thought we could look those over and talk about the differences, as well as the Fimi Mini, Fimi X8 Mini, I should say. You got to get those names right, and just talk about what the potential buyer, the pluses and minuses, and what they might be looking for. And of course, there's the other elephant in the room, and that's the Hubsan Mini Pro that all of us are waiting for. I saw that Autel put out a video today, an unboxing video, so that's the first real video of one that I've seen other than the ones put out by Hubsan themselves. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack and a lot of things to talk about, so I thought we would take a minute to do that. Okay, let's talk about the difference between the various minis from DJI first off. So right here we have the original DJI Mavic Mini, and this is the DJI Mini 2. They dropped the Mavic name and just went to Mini, and obviously the Mini SE is the same thing. It's not a Mavic, it's just a Mini SE. Now, the differences are significant enough that it's worth talking about. Essentially, what you're getting with the Mini SE is you're getting the original Mavic Mini, most of its specifications in a Mini 2 shell. And those differences are, if you look at the vents on the top here, these are just decals on the original Mavic Mini. On the Mini 2, those are actually vents and vent holes to allow air to get in and cool the electronics within. So if you look at the two, I mean, they look a lot alike. I mean, you're going to have to look pretty hard to see all the differences. You know, one of the ones on the Mini 2, of course, is you've got that light on the front and you can adjust it to flash in different colors and different ways. I'll be honest with you, I looked at that as more of a gimmick, and it never really was something I was terribly concerned with. But if we turn the drones around, we can see on the back here that the original Mavic Mini just has a micro USB charging port, and the Mini 2 has a USB-C. That allows the Mini 2 to do fast charging. Now, the Mini SE also has a USB-C port rather than a micro USB, so we can expect faster charging. The other difference, of course, is the batteries. So you have a lithium-ion battery that came with the original Mavic Mini, and the DJI Mini 2 comes with a lithium polymer battery. Now, we know the differences. Lithium-ion, you can charge it up and you can leave it charged. I kind of liked that feature. The lithium polymer battery has to get down to a storage state, otherwise it can damage the battery or even worse, cause other kind of problems. So the point being that the new Mini SE comes with a lithium polymer battery like this rather than the lithium ion. Now, my understanding is that if you already have a Mavic Mini, the lithium ion batteries will work in your Mini SE, so that's good to know. I guess one of the other differences to point out is with the legs of the drone. Now, everybody is familiar with the original Mavic Mini, the kind of foam cushiness on the back of the front legs. And if you look at the Mini 2, that's just hard plastic like the rest of it. And they also kind of beefed up the back legs as well. So I think you're going to find the legs are just a little bit stouter on the Mini 2 and on the Mini SE. So that's good to know. Another difference that's worth noting is the propellers. Now you can see the silver tips on the original Mavic Mini. The Mini SE uses the orange tips just the same as the Mini 2. And these original blades on the Mavic Mini, I don't know if any of you remember, there were problems with them. They would flatten out. They would cause unintended descent problems and other control problems with the original Mini. And it depended on how you stored them. You couldn't have them together, otherwise they could flatten out. Now, I think they would return to their original shape eventually, but if you left it in the case too long, got it out and flew it, you could have those kind of problems. No such problems with these orange tip blades that are on the Mini 2, and of course now on the Mini SE, so that's an improvement. So then the other 800-pound gorilla in the room is the cameras. Now on the Mavic Mini, you've got the 2.7K camera, and on the Mini 2, this one will shoot up to 4K. And there's some other differences in the camera menu and so forth. But I always thought that the 2.7K on the original Mavic Mini looked better than a lot of other cameras, drones that shot in 4K, and I think you'll find that's the case. So I've looked at some other videos where people have compared the cameras both in 2.7K, and you're going to struggle to tell the difference between them. That's what DJI is known for, is high quality cameras. So on the Mini SE, you're going to get the 2.7K camera. You're not going to get 4K video resolution. Okay, so the other thing we need to talk about is the remote control. Now, obviously, the Mini 2 uses the newer style remote control, and its connection system is OcuSync 2. And the original DJI Mavic Mini uses the old style controller and uses what they call enhanced Wi-Fi, which is not quite as strong of a connection as OcuSync 2. Although I can tell you from experience, the enhanced Wi-Fi on the DJI Mavic Mini is way better than other drones' Wi-Fi connections. It's pretty solid, although there's no question that OcuSync 2 is better. And it's just a matter of taste, whether you like this controller or this controller. Obviously, the newer controller, one of the big advantages people enjoyed was the fact that the your mobile device mounts on the top, as opposed to the old style where it's underneath. I'm going to tell you, there's pluses and minuses. I have used both, and I've flown back to back with both of these. This newer style controller is heavier, and it's a little bit more, you just have to pay a little bit more attention, a little bit more unwieldy. This guy is a lot lighter, although it is not as convenient to have your mobile device down below, and sometimes it can be harder to get to the buttons and so forth, the touch screen on your mobile device. But that's really the only negative to this one that I have ever seen. The other advantage to this guy is it's got such a huge battery on it, the new style controller, that boy, it just seems like you charge it up once and it lasts for weeks. You can also, the cool thing about this is it also can be used as a power bank to charge your phone if you need to. So I don't think I would, that would be advisable on this one because the battery is not as big. But that said, so the big next question is, what does the Mini SE come with? Well, the Mini SE is going to come with the old style DJI controller, and I don't think that's a bad thing. The only thing that I wish they could have updated is you've got a micro USB connection here. I wish DJI, on the Mini SE, I wish DJI could have updated that to a USB-C connection, a lot more reliable. These are very easy to damage, and a lot of people inadvertently damage them by trying to put the cable in upside down or something, and it messes up where it connects to the board on the inside, and then the only thing you can do is send it back to DJI for repair. So you'll just want to be careful about that. So let's talk a little bit about the 3 minis that we have here. You know, this is the newest entry, the Fimi X8 Mini. And while it has some features that neither of these have, probably the chief among them that a lot of people talk about is the follow me function that a lot of people were after. You know, here's the thing. The follow me actually works pretty good on this guy, but what I'm going to tell you is none of these drones have any kind of obstacle avoidance on them. You better be in a wide open area when you're doing any tracking or following with this drone, because the opportunity to put it into a tree or something like that is there, and I suspect that is why DJI didn't include tracking on these two. So anybody that's watched my channel has seen all the issues that I've had with the Fimi X8 Mini. This is actually my 3rd one. The original one that I had, I took it out of my first flight and I had some issues with gimbal pitch shift. In other words, the gimbal moving around on its own, uncommanded, that caused, you know, just obviously doesn't look good when you're trying to get cinematic video. Sadly, I actually dropped that one and I broke an arm on it and tore a ribbon cable. So I ended up ordering another one. The second one I had, I just never could get a good connection with it. It was just absolutely unreliable and got worse as time went on, to the point that I couldn't take it out 50 feet and I would lose connection. So clearly there's something going on with that, guys. Talked to the people at Fimi, and they actually sent me another drone, just the fuselage, sent it to me, and this is the 3rd one that I have here. And this one is has been, boy, just problem after problem. I have the gimbal pitch shift pretty badly on it. In fact, it's not even gimbal pitch shift, although it has that. The gimbal will do uncommanded movements. But what happens with this guy is the gimbal just checks out sometimes and it just flops around, and obviously you can't get good video with that. So you know, at this time I cannot recommend the Fimi X8 Mini. It's just, there's just too many problems, and I know too many others that have had the same exact problems that I've had with mine. My friend Ron Brown, John Coopy, among others, have had issues with their Fimi Minis. I know there's people that have had some that are seemingly work pretty good, but I think there's more people that have had the ones that have had problems than the ones that worked okay. And the other issue with this guy is it does tend to occasionally have a tilted horizon, although they have largely fixed that with software updates, and I think it's probably in an acceptable form right now. But I don't know why you would buy this when and I got this for 319 bucks, but I think if you bought it now you'd pay somewhere between $369 and $400, depending on what website you went to buy it at. And so that brings us to the 800-pound gorilla in the room. You can buy the DJI Mini SE for $299. You know, almost $100 less than this one, and you know it's a reliable drone and it's going to work. Everything's going to work as it should. Yes, you will not have the 4K video that you get with this guy. You'll only have 2.7K, but I'm going to say the 2.7K off of that Mini SE, if it's comparable to these other 2 DJI Minis, is going to look better than the 4K you get off this guy. That just reminds me of one other thing. This camera, while it's probably the best camera I've ever seen on a Fimi drone, it does have vignetting on it, or spotlighting as some people call it, and that's where the center of the frame is brighter than the edges, so the edges are darker. That seems to happen when you're shooting in 4K with this guy. If you shoot in lower resolutions, it's not nearly as bad, but you don't have any of those kind of issues with the DJI drone. So there again, I'm just not sure I just struggle to recommend this one to anybody at this point. Hopefully it's something that Fimi will improve and they can improve those problems moving forward. So obviously we've got the Hubsan Mini Pro that hopefully will ship soon. I ordered mine on May 7th, so it's been over 3 months that Hubsan has had my money, yet I have no drone. So just today I saw that Autel posted a video where he did an unboxing of his Hubsan Mini Pro, and that's the first Hubsan Mini Pro that I've seen in the hands of an individual that did a real unboxing on it. And it looks interesting, right? There's a lot of features on that drone. It'll shoot in 4K 60. It has obstacle avoidance front and rear. Now, what it won't do is like APAS on a DJI drone with obstacle avoidance. It won't go around an object, but it will stop. It has a, what they're saying is a 40-minute flight time, which is a lot. And of course, there's a lot of caveats that they throw in there with that to get that 40 minutes. But let's just say you got 30 minutes out of it. That would be phenomenal, right, for flight time on any drone, let alone a mini drone. Hubsan is also including tracking on that drone, and I will say Hubsan has always done a really good job with their optical tracking. They'll give you both GPS tracking and optical tracking. Optical tracking is really the one that you want because it keeps you in center of frame. Now that drone, because it does have obstacle avoidance on it, you will have a little bit more confidence when you're doing tracking. Now, it doesn't have sideways obstacle avoidance. So in other words, no sensors on the side of the drone. So you're going to want to be careful because anytime the drone is coming sideways, even with the front and rear obstacle avoidance, it could go sideways right into a tree. So there again, I'm not so sure that tracking is something that really is that necessary or desirable on these mini drones for that very reason. So I'm going to express a little bit of frustration right now with Hubsan. Like I said, they have, I placed my order on May 7th. Today is August 10th. I still haven't got that drone in hand, nor do I even have a tracking number. It hasn't been shipped. Who knows when I can get it. Maybe I'll get it by Christmas. I don't know. I can tell you, if I wasn't a drone reviewer, if I was just, you know, I want the drone because I want to be able to show it to you people. If not for that, I would have canceled my order some time ago because that's, you know, what they're doing is really ridiculous and kind of an insult to the consumer. So I guess what I'm saying is when we get that drone, it better be ready to go out of the box. If there's problems with that drone, like there is with this Fimi drone, yeah, that will be bad. And the other thing I'm going to say about that is we paid a premium price for that Hubsan drone. We paid more for that Hubsan drone than you would the DJI Mini 2. So, you know, like I said, it better be good. Oh, the other thing I wanted to add, and I forgot to mention, is the fact that it is confirmed now. A lot of people spotted the slot in the side of the Hubsan Mini drone and said, "Oh yeah, you can put an SD card in there." No, you can't. It's just a blank spot. I suspect they molded that in there for when they're going to come out. Hubsan's going to come out with a Mini SE, and I suspect it will require an SD card. That is another advantage I should have talked about on the Hubsan drone. The fact that it's got internal storage, I think is great, because one of the problems that I've had with Hubsan drones is they've been very sensitive to the kind of SD card, micro SD card that you use in them. Hey, this is going to be Hubsan's own memory, and hopefully it'll be flawless, and it's on board, so you're never going to forget your SD card. You know, the downside is I guess you're going to have to plug the drone into your computer or whatever it is to upload that video, or maybe I think they have a Bluetooth function too that you could upload it to your mobile device. Regardless, that's something that's worth mentioning about that particular drone, and I see it as a good feature. Okay, moving on. So now the other big rumor out there now is, Randall Warness was on the Fly for Fun show the other day, and he didn't confirm, but he didn't shake his head no either, about an Autel mini drone. And he also said that Autel has every expectation of supplying their customers with what they want. And he said it's pretty clear that customers want mini drones. So I suspect we're going to see an Autel mini drone, hopefully sometime soon. And no doubt Autel builds quality products, and that one will be a winner. So then the other thing that I wanted to talk about on this video is, what does that DJI Mini SE do to the market overall? Well, you've got a drone now, a high quality GPS enabled stabilized video camera drone available for $299. Anybody that watches my channel knows that that I review a number of lesser grade drones, and the reason that I do that is because I recognize that there's a lot of people that don't have, you know, $500 or $600 to spend on a drone, so they need, hopefully, to find a lower cost alternative. And there's been some that have come pretty close. The SJRC F11 is one of my favorites in that right around $200 category. Although the video on that is nothing like what you're going to find on a DJI drone or even this Fimi drone. So, you know, there really isn't anything there yet. So now with the Mini at $299, I'm just kind of wondering why anybody is going to buy any of those Beast drones or Sea-Fly drones or MJX drones. You know, even like the F11, which I kind of like that drone. For $299, if you can buy a DJI Mini SE that has level 5 wind resistance, so it can fly in pretty stout winds. I guess that's the other thing I said I failed to mention, is the SE has the same kind of wind resistance as the Mini 2, and in fact the rumor is that it has the same motors and the same ESCs as the Mini 2. So it's going to be a pretty stout drone. I've flown this guy in some pretty high winds, and it has no problems at all. And it's also a very precise flying drone. So I think I'm struggling to find, it's gonna be an earthquake for those lower priced drones. So I think for some of that stuff to be viable anymore, you know, the MJX Bug series, even that SJRC F11, Sea-Fly drones, those kind of drones that are kind of going for that lower market, they're going to have to either lower their price even more, and that, you know, takes them really down into the toy grade level. I'm just saying that if you can afford $200 for a drone, save up that extra $100 and buy that DJI Mini SE, and you'll have a trouble-free product that will get you just some amazing results. And yeah, I don't think you'll regret it. Hey, okay, so in conclusion, it's exciting times for the consumer drone market, and particularly for the sub 250 gram mini drone market. You know, at the high end, you've got the products like this DJI Mini 2 and the Hubsan Mini Pro, and then, you know, the rumored DJI Mini 3. It's going to be a full-featured product, I guarantee you. And then whatever we think we might see from Autel, it's just fun times. And at the other end of the market, then the little DJI Mini SE. I have, like I said earlier, I have one ordered. I should have it by this coming Thursday. I'm heading to Oregon this coming weekend for a little family reunion. I'm going to take that drone with me and hopefully get some cool video. We're going to be down by Mount Hood, Oregon, so hopefully get some interesting video with it, and I'll bring that back with me. But that lower end of the market is just a revolution now, and there's just going to be so many people that are going to be able to walk into Walmart and Best Buy and pick up a high quality DJI drone and just take some fantastic pictures and fantastic video. There's just going to be a lot of it out there. So yeah, let alone the Autel Mini, you know, that's going to be another one that I'm really excited about too. So I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we'll see you on the next one. Minis. I got minis. So yeah, and more minis on the way. So it's a lot of fun. All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye now.